I'm Seema Anand. I'm a storyteller and a mythologist.
Hi, I'm Anvita Madan Behel, and I'm a psychosexual therapist.
So, Anvita, today we're revisiting a subject that we have often talked about, which is pleasure. Lots and lots of questions today to answer on the subject.
Go for it. And what questions do we have today?
Hi, so I'm 20 and my boyfriend and I just got into a long distance relationship. Our sex life was fine, but now with phone sex, etc., I can't really get anywhere with masturbation while he seems to really enjoy it. I'm really new to masturbating and it's nothing like normal sex for me. What should I do? Okay, this is another pressure point that people have started to feel with the way that the work market, the job market is. A lot of couples are now in long distance relationships, and the pressure on them to have a really good, intimate side to their relationship while being away from each other. The pressure has become incredibly high. I think Anvita has said many times in the past that there were many things that we just automatically did because we were caught up with certain boundaries. Breaking the boundaries is always a good thing, but it also brings a whole new set of challenges with them. And I think, Anvita, this is where we need to start saying to this young woman that her idea of pleasure can come, as with most women, a lot of vagina owners, their pleasure is a very complex and a deep thing. It doesn't necessarily come from that one idea of masturbation and masturbation in a particular manner. And I think that a lot of women just don't understand that. It's the pressure that we're taking on ourselves.
As in, I think masturbation for women is an interesting concept, right? Because for years, women have been told sex and sexuality is not okay for them. Masturbating, most women, when you turn around and ask them, and especially, say, our generation women, they just look at you like, what are you talking about, masturbating? So now, many more younger women are engaging with it, but it was a concept meant for men, and that's what they did. So I think there's a little bit of getting over it, pushing a little bit of the boundary, saying masturbation is not bad, it's something good, it can give us pleasure. So one is that actually allowing ourselves the pleasure of masturbation, and not all women find it, it might take some self-encouragement to do that, and that's one. And two, it is a very different dynamic because the vagina and the clitoris is something inside. We've never seen it, we don't know what it is. Whereas the penis is outside. It's a very physical, it's an organ that's outside that you can see it getting enlarged, you can see how the blood rushes in, you can see that it's getting erect. Whereas with the vagina, it's difficult. So you need to build a relationship with your vagina. She's in a relationship, there's an expectation of like online, having phone sex. But has she ever masturbated before? And has she actually built a relationship with her vagina? There might be few steps before even it's not working with my boyfriend.
And there are way more steps before you actually get to the vagina. It's like somebody saying, okay, I'm going to go from 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. You can't do that. So it's about getting to know your body. It's about understanding that as a woman, there are so many other things that would give you pleasure, far more pleasure than the idea of inserting something into the vagina and actually going deeper in. So to keep the intimacy in a relationship going, because that's very, very important. I'm glad we've got to that point. It's also then, with that comes the pressure of building on that intimacy, of understanding how to keep it going, how to keep it fresh when you're so far away, because now your options are a lot more limited. Phone sex has become a part of their everyday life and feeling uncomfortable with it. Yes, being in person with somebody is very different. Having that excitement of the touch is very different. Being with somebody and being able to talk eye to eye, feeling their breath on your skin is very different. If you suddenly find that long distance sex or long distance intimacy is not doing it for you, or that you're not managing to achieve a lot with it, it's okay, calm down. It's very normal, it's very natural. It will take time to build it up because it's nothing like being with a person in real time.
I actually think the flip side of it can have a lot of advantages as well, because the in-person comes with so many insecurities as well. In some ways, how am I looking? What am I looking? Do I need to do something? Do I need to dress up? Am I like all those pressures of body and everything? I totally agree with you that the intimacy of having real-time touch is very different. But take it as an opportunity. Like if that is not an option and it's not a possible, think of the advantages here, because you can really build up a fantasy. And as we've said a lot of times, fantasies don't need to be practical. You could be having sex on the plane, on the wings of the plane, hanging from the parachute, you could be having sex, right? So there is a lot of fantasy that you can build in a long distance relationship over a phone. And I remember once Seema and I had spoken about foreplay over the phone, over long distance relationships. And it was such an exciting idea to build it up. If you know that you may be engaging with, visual, like digital sex by the end of the night, sexting something, sending ideas, sending foreplay ideas. So it's not all lost, like just because the person is not with you, it's not all lost. It can be very exciting, and you can make it very exciting as well.
And of course, the Kama Sutra always talks about all the different messages that lovers would send to each other. So different types of pan, different types of condiments, haldi, zira, etc. They had all got their own messages. And when you sent that to somebody, it was to say that you were thinking of them in a particular way. And I really recommend that, especially if you're in a long distance relationship, send each other images like that, where you have little code words for your own nookie, code words for your own kind of lovemaking. If, for instance, like in the Kama Sutra, the love scratches was a very big part of your lovemaking routine. I always suggest send your partner a photo of your new manicure. That is telling them that you're thinking of them in a particular way. And that itself is so exciting. It's so arousing. Just pleasure should come from so many different things. Don't grade yourself on how you feel pleasure. Just feel it. Enjoy it.
Sometimes we don't know what our fantasy is, and we have to build on it. So it's somewhat, because you're new to it and because it's difficult, find, like, maybe masturbate on your own time, see what gives you arousal, see what touch gives you arousal, and then maybe this idea of foreplay, like Seema was suggesting, where there is foreplay and building of a fantasy with your partner, with your boyfriend. It might actually build it up for you and make it easier, because and when we talk about the physical act, just the physical act, just because you just rubbing your clitoris and you're thinking that's what's going to give you, an orgasm, that can be very difficult. Maybe you do need a build-up, maybe you do need a backstory, maybe you need to emotionally fantasize what sex would look like and how it would look like. So all that background work, and I'm calling it work, but all that background exploration, I think, is really important and can make it exciting, rather than, we're going to speak on the phone and, he'll say that we should have sex and he will masturbate and I wouldn't know what to do. That's just so boring or physical in some ways. That is not pleasurable, that's not sex, and that's not exciting.
Do remember to check out my last video that I did with TTT Dobara and see whether you can get some help and advice from there.